Welcome to Global Hub Updates. Please subscribe to my channel and press the bell icon for more updates. The headlines blared. Tensions boil over in South China Sea. Across the region, anxiety was mounting as the world's attention turned to these troubled waters. Chinese Coast Guard rams Filipino supply vessel. The footage was shocking, a stark reminder of the risks faced by those who dared to challenge China's growing presence. The West Philippine Sea was at a breaking point, with confrontations growing more frequent and dangerous. Each day brought new reports of close calls and tense standoffs. Filipino fishermen were chased from their own waters, their livelihoods under threat. Generations who had relied on the sea now faced an uncertain future, forced to watch as foreign ships patrolled their traditional fishing grounds. Vietnamese and Malaysian vessels faced similar harassment, as China asserted control over disputed waters. The entire region was caught in a web of intimidation and uncertainty. The world watched, but diplomatic statements did little to change the reality at sea. Words of condemnation echoed in international halls, but the situation on the water remained unchanged. For the Philippines, with its stretched and underfunded navy, the pressure was immense. Their ships, often outdated and outgunned, were tasked with defending vast and contested waters. Outmatched ships faced down a superpower's steel hulls daily. The courage of their crews was tested with every encounter, as they stood firm against overwhelming odds. The question: how long could they hold the line? Each confrontation risked escalation, and the world wondered if a spark would ignite a wider conflict. These weren't just maritime disputes, they signaled a shift in global power. The balance that had held for decades was now in flux, with new players and new ambitions. The Indo-Pacific had become the new epicenter of geopolitical competition. Vital shipping lanes, rich resources, and strategic positions made these waters more important than ever. Freedom of navigation, the rule of law, and regional stability were all at stake. The outcome would shape not just the region, but the future of international order. For Southeast Asian nations, this was a direct challenge to their sovereignty. Their flags flew defiantly, symbols of resistance and hope amid growing uncertainty. The confrontations at sea were a daily struggle for survival. Every patrol was a test of endurance, resolve, and national pride. The post-Cold War order was fading, replaced by a contested multipolar world. Old alliances were being tested, and new rivalries were emerging on the waves. The Philippines, Vietnam, and Malaysia faced a test of national resolve. Their sailors and leaders knew the eyes of the world were upon them. The stakes, their security, their identity, and their future. Every decision carried weight, shaping the destiny of nations and the peace of the region. The world was holding its breath, waiting to see what would come next in this sea of troubles. China's South China Sea strategy is a masterclass in gray zone tactics, coercive, aggressive, but just short of war. Instead of open naval battles, China deploys its Coast Guard and maritime militia, disguised as fishing boats, to intimidate and harass. Filipino supply missions are blocked, Vietnamese boats rammed, Malaysian energy projects threatened. The goal: establish control without firing a shot, changing facts on the water. Smaller nations face an impossible choice: risk escalation or lose territory, piece by piece. China's persistence is designed to wear down its neighbors' resolve. The international tribunal ruling against China's claims is ignored. Southeast Asian nations are now seeking new partners and strategies to defend their sovereignty. The pressure is relentless and growing. Into this tense environment, where maritime disputes and power struggles are intensifying across Asia, Japan has made a historic move that could reshape the region's security landscape. For the first time ever, Japan is transferring a fully armed Abukuma-Class warship to the Philippine Navy, a step that was unthinkable just a few years ago. This isn't just about military hardware, it's a powerful symbol of a new strategic era, signaling a deepening partnership between Tokyo and Manila. The ship, equipped with modern missiles and state-of-the-art sensors, gives the Philippines a credible deterrent for the first time in decades, enhancing its ability to defend its waters and assert its sovereignty. This transfer marks a turning point in Japan-Philippines relations and signals Tokyo's willingness to play a more active and assertive role in regional security. The move is a direct response to China's growing maritime aggression, and it sends a clear message of support for international law and the rules-based order in the South China Sea. For Manila, this is a true game-changer, proof that it's building a more resilient, independent defense posture and taking concrete steps to modernize its military capabilities. While the U.S. remains a key ally, Japan's bold move shows that Manila is now diversifying its security partnerships, strengthening ties with other regional powers to ensure its own security. The Abukuma's arrival is a timely and significant boost to Philippine sovereignty, coming at a moment when regional tensions are at a high. It's a concrete step in a deepening alliance, laying the groundwork for even closer military and diplomatic cooperation in the years ahead. The entire region is watching closely and taking note of this bold new chapter in Asia-Pacific security. To grasp the Abukuma's impact, consider the Philippine Navy's past. For decades, it relied on aging, second-hand U.S. ships, floating museums, not modern warfighters. The flagship, BRP Raja Humabon, was a World War II relic until 2018. These outdated vessels struggled to patrol vast waters, let alone deter a rising China. As Beijing built artificial islands and fortified them, the Philippine Navy could only watch. The 2012 Scarborough Shoal standoff exposed the fleet's inadequacy and spurred a long overdue modernization. New frigates and patrol vessels arrived, but the Abukuma is a leap forward. It's the first time Manila has received a fully armed modern warship from a regional partner. The era of hand-me-downs is ending. The Philippines is finally building a navy for the threats of today. The transformation has begun. The Abukuma's arrival transforms the Philippine Navy from a patrol force to a true naval defender. Old ships could only observe. The Abukuma can fight back. With advanced weapons and sensors, it's a quantum leap in capability. Its presence forces aggressors to think twice. Deterrence is now real. For sailors, it's a morale boost. No more floating targets, but a modern warship to crew with pride. The Abukuma is also a training platform, raising the technical standard of the entire fleet. New doctrines, tactics, and skills will ripple through the Navy. This single ship is a catalyst for modernization. It signals national commitment to defense and the people who serve. The Philippine Navy is stepping into the 21st century. The transformation is both practical and psychological. A new era has begun. The Abukuma-Class warship brings formidable weapons and sensors to the Philippine fleet. Harpoon anti-ship missiles give the Navy long-range strike power for the first time. Advanced sonar and anti-submarine rockets allow it to hunt submarines, a critical new skill. The ship's layered defenses, including a phalanx CIWS and a 76mm main gun, make it survivable in hostile waters. Its combat information center fuses radar, sonar, and electronic data for rapid decision-making. The Abukuma is more than a ship. It's a floating network of sensors and shooters. This integration marks a massive leap in technological sophistication. The Philippine Navy can now protect its sea lanes and impose real costs on aggressors. The balance of power in the West Philippine Sea has shifted. The Philippines finally has a credible means of defense. Japan's transfer of the Abukuma sends a clear message to Beijing: the days of unchecked coercion are over. China's strategy relied on military asymmetry, but a missile-armed Philippine warship changes the calculus. The Philippines can now protect its waters, fishermen, and supply missions with real force. While Manila can't outmatch China, it can impose costs, deterrence in action. Other Southeast Asian nations are watching, inspired to seek similar partnerships. Japan's move could spark a broader regional effort to resist Chinese pressure. China may respond with more military or economic pressure, but that only validates the need for stronger alliances. The regional security balance is shifting. The Abukuma's arrival is a turning point. The ball is now in China's court. The region is no longer defenseless. The Abukuma's transfer is as much about Japan as the Philippines. For decades, Japan's constitution limited its military to self-defense and economic diplomacy. But faced with a rising China and a complex security environment, Japan is reinterpreting its pacifist stance. Under the proactive contribution to peace, Japan is boosting its military and taking a more active regional role. Providing a fully armed warship is a bold step, directly strengthening a partner's hard power. Japan is building a network of like-minded allies, not just relying on the US. This shift has broad support in Japan and among its allies. The US, Australia, and India see Japan as a key partner for a free and open Indo-Pacific. The Abukuma's transfer is proof of Japan's new commitment. Tokyo is now a central pillar of regional security. The recent transfer of a Japanese warship to the Philippines is more than just a symbolic gesture. It's part of a much larger trend. Across the Indo-Pacific, nations are weaving together a new and dynamic security network. responding to growing regional challenges and shifting power balances. At the heart of this network is the Quad, an informal but increasingly influential partnership between the United States, Japan, Australia, and India. These four democracies are working together to promote a free, open, and inclusive region, conducting joint exercises and deepening strategic ties. This core is further reinforced by other alliances, such as AUKUS, a trilateral pact between Australia, the UK, and the US, and a web of bilateral defense agreements that crisscross the region, creating layers of cooperation and trust. The Philippines, strategically located at the crossroads of the Pacific Ocean and the South China Sea, has become a pivotal node in this emerging network, its importance growing as regional tensions rise. Its deepening security ties with Japan are a clear sign of how proactive network defense strategies are taking shape, with both nations seeking to deter threats and ensure maritime stability. Unlike the rigid military blocs of the past, this new era is defined by flexible coalitions, groups of like-minded states that can adapt and respond quickly to evolving challenges, sharing intelligence and resources. The transfer of the Abukuma-Class warship is a tangible example of this new approach, one ally directly strengthening the capabilities of another, building trust and interoperability. Washington has made it clear that it fully supports this collaborative networked approach, seeing it as essential for maintaining balance and deterring aggression in the region. The message from these alliances is unmistakable. The Indo-Pacific will not accept domination by any single power, and regional sovereignty must be respected. It's a collective effort, with countries working side by side to ensure stability, peace, and the rule of law, across vital sea lanes and beyond. The future of the Indo-Pacific will be shaped not by hegemony, but by a growing network of alliances and partnerships, each reinforcing the other. In this new security landscape, the Philippines and Japan are emerging as leaders, setting an example for others to follow. Together, they are helping to build a new security architecture, one that promises a more stable, secure, and cooperative Indo-Pacific for years to come.